tried to stunning strike the Tarask and realized he ran out of key points, and they got the party TPK'd. So session's canceled. Welcome to another. I'm trying to think of a bad example I can give to annoy Josh, but I can't at the moment. Another example of the session's canceled podcast. I'm your host for the day. I am the mercy monk himself, Matt. I'm here with my boys, the homies. Josh.
Hello, I am confused by that statement.
And my monk homie number 2, Isaiah.
So, okay, now wait. When you said Mercy Monk, did you mean as in the school, the subclass, or was that another reference to Percy Glaxton, except you changed the P in Percy with an M?
Yes.
Okay.
Sam is still entrenched in the wormhole of Nurgle, or whatever we're calling it, the warp.
It's the warp. It's not that hard, Matt.
Nah, I'm just gonna keep messing up 40k stuff.
It's literally easier to say than what you made up. I fucking... Also,
he's
Nurgle...
trapped in he's trapped in the bonsai tree of chaos.
Sir, Nurgle is only one chaos team. He's not like the only one. There's like a bazillion of them.
Although
the Horus Heresy.
You don't.
Who knows nothing about 40k?
I was gonna say, you don't know what the fuck that is.
Even I know that one, basically.
Anyway, what I want to know, Matt, is what did you mean you were trying to come up with something to annoy me?
I don't know. I like to annoy you, so I just figured I'm like, let me come up with an intro. I could sing my mother cover.
Let me tell you a secret. Let me tell you a secret, Matt. You don't need to come up with something to annoy me. You always do it naturally.
Nice. I'm doing it. I'm winning.
You don't need to think about it.
All I do is Charlie Sheen. Anywho's
what?
Today, viewers, listeners. What?
Ooh. Charlie Sheen. What?
Yeah. Winning. That's where that term comes from.
Oh,
you're talking about when he was coked out and talking to space tigers.
All right, anyways, I'm just gonna shove this reference off the cliff right.
We should go down this rabbit hole. Let's talk about Charlie Sheen and his cocaine.
That too. Anywho's, today is another fine example of the handbook. Oh shit! Nah, fuck. Class book. Fuck. I'm so sorry. I actually legitimately brain farted, Josh. I'm so sorry.
Matt, you were correct the first time.
Oh, it was the first one. Oh my god! Why am I so bad at this?
I genuinely don't understand.
All right, it's another class talk. We're gonna be speaking
He just
on
gave
all
up.
the 5e
He just gave up.
class.
He just fucking gave up.
It's the same as Matt not being able to pull Mark correctly.
Nope, never.
Matt,
Yeah.
just in your brain, just replace the word player in player's handbook. That's all you have to do.
I keep wanting to say like the critical role thing, the handbooker helper for some reason. I don't know why. Like it keeps, and then my brain's like, no, don't say that. No, it's not actual handbook. And then fucking, just tumbling down the hill. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know either.
Okay.
My mind is an enigma.
Correct.
Even I can't
The
satisfy.
inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
Correct.
But but everybody, you know the deal.
Dude.
Unfortunately, it is. We have our questions that I'm gonna bumble through somehow, and we rate the class. We ask if we played. We pick our quintessential person of said class, and then we talk about our favorite subclasses. And we're talking mostly 5e, but we can divulge and branch off into other games.
Matt.
I'm assuming the monk is like a thing in other games, right?
Matt,
right, guys? This is me, Mr. 5e lives in nothing but 5e.
No, Matt, talking about other games is explicitly not the point when we're doing these, because these are only about 5e.
Nah.
Isaiah, help me.
I think you should just like grab onto your butt and go on for the ride. Now the question is can we set a record? Can we actually get to the meat and potatoes of these episodes without it going an hour of us yelling about
it's
the quintessential
it's
monk?
only been like 5 minutes. I mean, I could probably ramble on for another 5.
I'm sure you can,
Matt.
but we got 54 minutes to get to the meat and potatoes.
Isaiah.
What's the Futurama meme? It's like, are you done being stupid? And it's like, I have more, but I'll hold on.
Isaiah, that's our secret. There is no meat and potatoes. It's all just potatoes, I guess. I don't know.
Carbo loading.
Yeah. There is no secret meat and potatoes. There's no goal. That's the secret.
before we get on to our actual questions, just what do you guys, your general opinions are of the monk? Because I personally like the class, but I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from my boys.
Monk is the disappointing stepchild that tries its fucking hardest.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to answer the question.
Good talk.
You're gonna find out my answer as we discuss.
Okay. I guess, do you want me to go first, or do you guys want to go first with the, how would you rate the class from numbers 1 through 5?
Let's hear it, Matt. Let's hear.
All right.
Hear your special boy thoughts.
So to be honest, I actually think the class is, as I know, there are a lot of issues with the class, but I do overall like the class as a whole, and I'm gonna give it a 4. That might be a little high, but honestly, it probably would deserve a 3. But I'm gonna give it a 4 just because I like the flavor of the class. This is probably one of the only classes in 5e that I legitimately like every subclass.
Bold statement.
I was gonna say that's a bold statement.
yeah, right. I like them. Are they all good? But I do like a lot of the subclasses where it's like.
Hold on. Do you like the idea of the subclasses? Is that what it is? Because I feel like a lot of them are cool ideas, bad executions.
Yes, a lot of, especially when we get to the 4 elements monk. That's going to be the biggest one. But yeah, I like the flavor of a lot of the subclasses, and the mechanics for I'd say over half of them are actually pretty cool. But then you have some of the ones that are extremely disappointing or just kind of weird. Like Long Death is a cool idea, but mechanic wise, execution wise, kind of odd.
The fuck is Long Death?
Long Death. It came out in
Sword Coast Adventures Guide.
Sword Coast Adventures Guide. Yeah. This is one of those. Okay, so here's the thing. All right, I'm gonna get into this one. Fuck no, I'm just gonna say it now. Okay, Long Death has one of the better ability, like better builds in my opinion for Monk, because its level 3 ability is a permanent, always on, always works, no charge limit. And Monk is one of the currency classes, right? You got to pay for all your shit. Yeah. And I usually like currency classes, but I just like it sometimes when your shit just works. You look at it and go, every time this procs, it's going to work.
But that defeats the point.
The point of what?
Well, the point of having a currency class is that I get to spend my currency to do something cooler and more impressive than everyone else gets to do for free because I'm spending a resource. Yeah, if you give the currency class an ability that's free, it defeats the entire core design of the class.
Here's the thing though, right? The currency is key points, and there's not enough of them. So I prefer to have some things that are just freebie.
Separate. No. See, this is the problem, though, Isaiah. You're missing the forest for the trees here. The key points not being enough is a separate issue. The design should be focused around the currency. The fact that the currency is poorly designed is a different thing, and if the currency wasn't poorly designed, it wouldn't be a problem. So you can say, well, I like the monk having free stuff because the way key points work right now is bad, but you have to think about it. What if key points didn't work poorly? Because when they're making, right, that's what I'm saying. When they're making the subclasses, in their mind, the base system does work. So they're making it with the internal assumption that it makes sense. So the fact that they are making the internal assumption that the currency on the currency class makes sense, and then ignoring the currency on the currency class, is incredibly weird and dumb design.
Isn't it with also most of the subclasses for the monk, when you hit the level 3, that ability usually has some kind of new effect when you spend key or use your what's the not unarmed strikes, what's the third
flurry
martial
blows.
Arts.
Martial
art key, your key, flurry of blows, patient defense, step of the wind.
When you use your key, So basing an ability that is the monk's primary ability, not around the thing that the monk is supposed to do, is bad design.
On a purely theoretical, yes, I would agree. But practically, given what we have, it's great.
Sure, I guess if you're looking at it as a band-aid for the problem, it's an okay band-aid, but that doesn't make me excited about the ability. That just makes me look at it and go, a band-aid.
Hey, sometimes band-aids work, man.
No, they don't. That's the problem. That's why it's a band-aid, because they don't always work. You have to fix the problem under the band-aid.
Yeah, well, they aren't going to do
just
that
slap
to one
flex tape on
D&D's
everything.
nuts. So for the 5+ years that Sword Coast Adventures guides have been out, worked great.
Yeah. Plus, with and honestly, with a lot of the stuff they added in Tasha's, they did help some features of the monk. The dedicated weapon. I know so many people who play monk, and they're like, "Yes, finally."
It's not even that
Now
cool
I can
of an
use my
ability.
great sword.
I'm reading the Touch of Death. It's not even that cool.
You just gain
you get
10 HP. Yeah.
From killing a dude, basically.
Yeah, it's not amazing, but it's consistent, and I like that.
So you can be the monk who's like at higher levels, taking out all the goons, and you're like, all right, I'm just gonna constantly keep like.
Right, but that's not supposed to be their thing. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, it's consistent. It's like, yeah, but if you want consistency, you play a different class. That's the whole point.
Why not both? ¿Por qué no los dos?
Because it's bad design.
Anywho's.
It's fun to play though.
By the way, the monk is not the only one guilty of this bullshit. Other classes do that. And don't anywho's in me, Matt. This is on topic. What the fuck? Off my dick.
Nope.
Other classes do this bullshit too, where they're like, this subclass fixes the shortcoming of the class. It's like, but that's not good design. You're just going around the issue and you're like, oh, this class is fun now because it fixed the shortcoming. It's like, well, no, you should fix the foundation. You can't you're just building a third floor on a shitty foundation. Like,
I get what you're saying. I do. I understand what you're saying. Like, in an ideal world where we could just get like full like revamp erratas that just change whole classes, and in something less than one D&D's nuts, I agree completely, 100%.
I mean, technically nothing's stopping them, but that's I get
the
why they don't.
practicality of it's what's stopping them.
Yeah, I get why they don't. But like,
so it like a small like practical fix that makes the like at least that subclass maybe a little bit more enjoyable because you have some good consistency. I think that's fine.
I don't like it. I don't like band-aiding. I think you should, anytime you're trying to analyze the design of any part of a game, you should analyze what is its intended purpose and how is it supposed to work and how would it, assuming everything works well, what's it supposed to do? And it seems it's just like, because then you get in this situation, especially because then you could get in a situation where everyone's like, oh, I don't play monk, but I'll play this one subclass of monk. And it's like, oh, but it's like, what? It's like kind of, so you're like, I don't know. It's just weird to like halvesies it. You're like, well, I'll kind of play monk, but only if I get this one option. It's like, but then why even bother? Just play somebody else at that point. Because like, the way I look at it is if it's consistency of abilities is what you want, then play like paladin or fighter. You know, in the 5e specific topic. You know, like play something else.
I suppose, but you could make the easy argument of people just like, oh, I don't like monk because I don't like all the currency. But there's this one monk that doesn't have a currency, so I like that. And
I mean, they still have it.
That's, I mean, but as long if that gets someone to like excited enough to play the class, I think that's a net positive.
Yeah, I don't think that's a net positive.
Fair enough.
That feels like lazy from a designer standpoint, from the people in the office, as it were. That feels like a lazy design fix.
I mean, it might be, but here's the question: how would you fix it other than being like, okay, here's a Sage Advice compendium that redoes the entire class? Because let's be real, that's just not practical.
No, I mean, yeah, in terms of redoing the entire class, that's an iffier problem that I'm not 100% sure. But I mean, it's not impossible to put out, like, it's not impossible.
Like an errata for subclasses, like that, I kind of agree.
No,
that can be doable.
Not even an errata for subclasses. You could, hypothetically, make a revised monk the way that they did revised ranger, and then put it out as an official like mini book or like a PDF, maybe if you want to save some money and you don't want to print anything, you just make it a PDF. And it's like, this is the revised monk. You can play the old monk or you can play revised monk. It's up to you. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that idea.
No, I don't. There isn't anything wrong with that.
Apparently, they're afraid of it though, because I
was astounded that they did it with Ranger in the first place.
Well, with Ranger, it was Unearthed Arcana, and then it just never went anywhere.
Well, no, not in the long run, but the fact that they made one, even if it is Unearthed Arcana, the fact that they did it, at all, because I had been like, nah, like Ranger's just fucked. It's just gonna be what it is. And then they were like, oh, don't worry, we're trying this out. And I went, oh shit,
we're trying it out, but in an incredibly half-ass fashion to the point where we might as well not be trying it out. Right?
Like, no, I don't think it was like that.
A lot of people try.
But when you don't make it an official book, what happens is it just fades away into obscurity, and people forget about it, and people move on, and so it becomes like a half-assed little like, hey, we kind of did something.
Well, I don't remember what the reasoning was behind them not pushing it forward. Either they didn't get enough people playtesting it, or people thought it was too strong or too different from the original class.
I think they're just scared of doing what Isaiah said and errata it, like making essentially an errata for an entire class. I think they're just afraid to do that.
I think that's a pretty fair fear, though.
Because they've reprinted the Player's Handbook so many times that they might be afraid to be like, all right, in the 12th reprint of the Player's Handbook, now it has the new Ranger in it.
Well, that's why I'm saying don't put it in.
Before, like, what if they don't know about there's an online PDF for free? You can get the erratas the whole class, like.
Well, that's why I'm saying you don't put it in like the Player's Handbook. That's why I'm saying it would be its own release of some kind. You know, because I think there's ways that you could do it that would be acceptable and that wouldn't like drive people that crazy. I think it's an option. Obviously, they didn't want to, but I think they could. Obviously, their train of thought at some point along the road, although I don't know if this is probably wasn't their train of thought during the revised Ranger situation, because that was a while ago. But at some point along the road, they were like, oh, well, what if we just take a look at the whole game? And that's what they're doing now. So that was what they landed on. But I don't know. I don't think it would have been too crazy to like revise classes along the way. I will say there is a little bit of a slippery slope problem, because if you revise one or two classes, people may start demanding revisions of every class, that's its own issue. You have to kind of, in that scenario, you have to do the thing that a lot of video game designers talk about, where you listen to the feedback, you absorb it, and you ignore most of it. You know?
Yeah, that's like the creators of Pokemon ignoring their fan base when they're like, I want a game where you only can capture legendaries, and they're like, all right, and they really laugh about it all the time.
Yeah, well, because a lot of the time players don't actually know what they want. They think they know what they want, but what they don't understand is they're not game designers. They don't understand a lot of the psychology that goes into game design. So if you started just revamping every single class, that could get out of hand. But that's why, as the designers, you have to go, okay, we need to know where we need to put the brakes on the situation. And, you know, maybe they look at Monk and say Monk is fine. They may think that. I don't know. I don't think so, but they could.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the problems I have with Monk are so minor. And I actually do, again, like, I gave the class a 4. Like, I really like it. But the internet, apparently, within the last, 2 years, they went from being like, oh, the Ranger's the worst class in D&D to, no, it's actually the Monk. And it all started when that survey came out about the player handbook classes in every single one of them. And all of a sudden, all the D&D Reddits, all people on YouTube just started shitting on the Monk and being like, the Monk is the worst class in the game. Give me armor with my monks. Let my monk use a shield. Make his AC 24. Give him a D17 hit dice. And it's like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Yeah. It's like, give me 20 key points at level 1. And it's like, all right, guys, all right, we gotta have to slow the brakes here real quick. Hold on.
I mean, the problem people have with Monk, though, is always from a very Munchkin-y, by the numbers angle.
Yeah.
And I just quite frankly don't give a shit about that discussion.
Yeah, because the monk isn't supposed to be the damage dealer. You can do that, but Really?
Yeah, I think the punchy guy who punch a lot. What else are they supposed to be other than a damage dealer?
They can hit. I think the monk is supposed to be I can hit a lot. I don't have to do a lot of damage, but I have to get my effects off by hitting you. They can hit, and that's why like their 2 hit bonuses and all that stuff, I think should be better like as they get a higher level. But their main thing isn't I hit you and then I do 1,000,000 damage unless you're like open hand monk. They're supposed to be I hit you and then an effect happens, and that effect is from my subclass, whether it's Mercy Monk, Way of Shadow, like whatever.
I would
that's me though.
I would agree with that if 5e were different. Like I understand, yeah, from a from designing in a vacuum standpoint, your idea is sound in that the point of the monk is to hit, like get a bunch of hits in and then cause shit to happen via the hits. Like that logic I follow. The problem is that 5e is afraid of like buffs and debuffs and stuff like that. So there's not really that many things they let them do with those hits. You know, they let them do like a thing, and sometimes that thing just doesn't work. So it's like, if 5e were designed in such a fashion where like on hit effects were more common, a la kind of a video game system, I would say that would make sense. But because that's not really a thing, doesn't quite work. I follow you, but it doesn't pan out that way.
I see what you're saying. What I was going to say is monk is sort of the opposite side of the same coin that is fighter, right? Like I consider fighter a DPS controller, where I consider monk a controller DPS. You know, like fighter is sort of more based on doing damage, getting big hits in. Whereas monk, I feel, is more of I chip away at health and then I have effects based on my punches.
They don't have that many effects though. That's the thing. They don't really have that many effects.
Yeah.
Like what?
Here, let's read one.
Other than the fucking stunning strike, which obviously, you know.
Well, that, but like.
What else?
Let's see. Drunken Master technique. When you use your flurry of blows, whenever you use this feature, you gain the benefit of the disengage action, and your walking speed increases by 10 feet. So it's basically I hit you a bunch of times, and then I step away from you, or something like open palm technique, where it's like when they hit you with their flurry of blows, you can choose to either have them make a dex save or get knocked prone, make a strength save or be pushed 15 feet from you, or they can't use reactions, and then you can just walk away like a drunken monk. So it's like that's what I mean. It doesn't have to be, or even Mercy Monk I think has something where it's they hit you and they have their special like healing or hurting punch. Yeah. So that one is strictly like damage, but yeah, you spend a key point. Yeah, you spend 1 key point and deal an extra necrotic damage equal to your martial art die plus wisdom. Like that one's fine. Like
okay, so every subclass has 1.
Well, you're forgetting.
Well, I'm looking at just the 3rd level, like when they first get it.
I think the 3rd level tends to be the only one that gives them any kind of ability like that.
Well, base monk, not only do they have stunning strike, they also have focused aim, which procs if you miss an attack. So there is that as well. That's a little more of an aspect of the controller route. Ascendant Dragon, it has the charisma check, charisma save thing.
Yeah, they all have like 1, which is fine. But that's just like most things in 5e. Like, oh, this is this class's identity. How is this their identity? Well, they have 1 ability that confirms that identity. Just 1? Yep, just 1. Okay. Well, it's not 0, I guess. I mean, he does that shit a lot.
It depends on what you mean by that, because like Open Palm Monk has a couple of things where it's like, you know, again, the 3rd level ability with the subclass, then the
3rd level
the
ability.
17th.
See the 3rd one.
Yeah, then the 17th level, the quivering palm, the fucking make I think it's a con save or take like 100 damage or some shit. It's so damage. Fucking fun. It's so
That's just damage though.
Yeah, but that's flavorful, and at that high level, like that's a cool thing to be like, I can hit you, you know, the 5-finger death palm, like, you know, palm of death, like that thing.
No, yeah, it's a fun. Makes sense. I'm not saying it's not a fun ability. I'm just saying in regards to what you were talking about, Matt, where their shtick is supposed to be like, I hit you and then cause status effects to happen. That's not a status effect. That's just damage.
Well, that, and then there's also like if you look at I'm gonna look at the Elements Monk. Like their thing is they have a bunch of stuff where it's like when you make the attack action, you spend a key point and then you can do stuff. Most of that stuff does something and does damage. So like, you know, you can increase your speed by 10 feet as an action. When you hit someone, it does fire instead of bludgeoning damage. And if you spend another key point, it deals extra fire damage. This one where you spend a key point and where is this? Sorry. You blast air at somebody like an airbender, you spend 2 key point and then they have to make a save or take, you know, get slammed to a wall. Like there are a bunch of stuff. It's the problem is there's, you know, you have to look at a lot of the subclasses and like look at each one, because yeah, not every single one of them gives a bunch, but they definitely do, especially with the monk, give more than 2 that do some sort of other effect. Granted, yeah, a lot of them they deal damage and then do something else, and I would like it to be more than something else, like the Cobalt Press Midgard stuff, like a lot of the weapon stuff. I wish the monk had like a lot of those.
Yeah, if the monk had that kind of stuff, I would say you are correct in that what the design idea was.
But most of it is some sort of effect and damage, or just damage. Like that's
or the effects are very like minor, like additional attack or whatever. It's just the thing. It's just this thing that 5e does with, and it's you can see it in so many classes. It's like, Bard is the support guy. How is Bard the support guy? Bard gets Bardic Inspiration. Okay, what else do they get? They get Bardic Inspiration.
They get a bunch of healing spells. They get Song of Rest.
Spells. Disregard spells. We're talking about class abilities. Because spells are kind of cheating.
No, what? No, spell casting is part of the Bard. They're a caster.
I know, but the thing about spells is like everyone gets them, so they're a little bit. You can't. I don't attribute spells to identity as much. Like they're a factor, but they're not as weighted as heavily because so many people everyone gets spell casting in some regard on some subclass level. But what I'm saying is like, it's this thing where they're like, this is the identity of this class, but we don't want to give them too many different things that's like leaning in too hard, or I don't know why they don't do it, but they don't give them too many things. So you end up with Bard's the support class. We gave them 1 support ability. That's fine. I guess you could kind of argue Song of Rest, but that's not like during a fight or during the action, so it's not 100% of support ability.
I would count that. I think Bard is a bad example of this, because you have Bardic Inspiration, you have Jack of all trades, which is technically a support trait. If someone has to rely
benefits the Bard.
Has a shit ton of
what?
Skill monkey. Yeah, being a skill monkey is a support person.
That's stretching the definition in my eyes.
I don't think so at all.
Support person should be able to directly assist everybody else with some kind of ability. You know, if you're playing a support class, if you're playing a MOBA and your class is a support, you should have a stun or a crowd control, a slow, an ability that moves the enemy around, something that makes the opponent ability easier to kill. Yeah.
That's what the spells make up for.
Okay, but the monk doesn't have spells.
I know. Well, that's why the spell, like the monk gets, like they get Stunning Strike for that one thing. They get their subclass abilities that give them, you know, some feature to do with spending key on, or like Way of Shadow Monk. They literally just get like spells, and you know, eventually at 6th level they get the teleport, which is nuts. And main thing you're supposed to do is like, all right, I spend key point to cast darkness, and then I just teleport in and out, punching the shit out of people while in darkness. You know,
just feels like a lot of half-baked shit.
No, I don't actually agree with that statement. I think it does have some pretty.
I've said it multiple times, and I get shut down every time, so I'm aware.
That's how it is. You don't agree.
Well, I don't.
Stop peeing in my Frosted Flakes, Josh.
I'm not. I just get annoyed. I just get annoyed at the game that they like are afraid to give classes like really, really strong identity in a lot of regards.
Well, I think when the one D&D, you know, playtest packet comes out, the next one, because they specifically said the next one is going to be warriors. Yeah. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing monk, and like I don't know if you guys, I'll say it now just before we, you know, go on to like what you guys, you know, rate the class, but basically like my simple dumb fix for the monk is really just like give them an extra key point when they level up, so they get 2 instead of 1. Like give them a bigger hit dice, because they're supposed to be up front like the fighter, like the barbarian. and just don't have their fucking hit their martial die start a D6. Well, actually, you don't have it start at a D6. Don't have it start as a D4.
I would say give them better AC for the flavor.
Yeah.
It makes more sense to me that the monk is better at dodging rather than getting better at getting punched in the face.
True. Well, would the AC thing be that, or would you rather them have some sort of dodging like mechanic thing built in? Because like most of the time, and again, not like people who are like, yeah, I wish monk like their AC was crazy high or something. Like, do you think having better AC would fix that, or would you rather it be like some sort of dodge mechanic, kind of like what's the ability they can catch arrows with?
Deflect
missiles.
Sure. That would be a fun idea. I'd be a little worried about the execution. I think bumping their AC is much easier to do. But you could, you could go with the like. Would it be fun to have an ability that's like dodge and or knock punches out of the way? Could be, yeah. But I would be concerned about how they might go about that.
Because like if it's based on your dex and your wisdom as a monk, like you can get that, up to what if you
20.
So
then if you get bracers of defense or whatever,
you could get your AC to 20 potentially. Not easy, but you could.
Not easy.
But like the main thing is, I think you could probably just bump the calculation a little bit, because they're currently it's 10 plus dex plus wisdom. You could make it 12 plus dex plus wisdom.
Something like the natural armor, like lizard folk and loxodons get. I agree.
Especially because
for me,
at the beginning, your AC wouldn't really be that high anyway, because how often are you going to have like level 1 characters with +5s and both those stats? Probably not.
Right.
You could, but it's unlikely.
What were you going to say, Isaiah?
Oh, I was going to say my hot fix for monk is just give them more consistency. Like give them more attacks or key points. And I'd say maybe the D6 option's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's for me. That's my hot fix.
This goes back to the problem of what do they want monk's identity to be, because you have to decide that first. Because that's the problem with throwing out hot fixes. You can hot fix all sorts of ideas, but the hot fix is going to be your idea of what you want the class to be. What the fuck does Wizards actually want the class to be? Like, oh, it's not supposed to be the damage dealer. Oh, it is supposed to be the damage dealer. They're not supposed to be tanky. No, they should be tanky. Everyone's debating.
I think
those points. Wizards needs to decide and then go from there.
I think with Tasha's, because the last 3 subclasses we got, was the Astral Self, the Mercy Monk, and then with Fizbits, we got the Ascendant Dragon.
Yeah.
And a lot of those 3 specifically, they do more damage than some of the other subclasses. Especially if you're looking at like Astral Self, who's just like, I'm just gonna attack forever. Like I could do 16 attacks. I'm fucking. I can just attack for days.
Not anymore.
Oh, not anymore.
No, so they took that out when it left UA. And I was very mad about that.
You're right. And I know Ascendant Dragon they changed too.
Yeah. So because to me, right, like I stand by what I say, right? Like a monk should have more control over the battlefield, and still do damage. And I do think part of having control over the battlefield is being consistent. So if by that definition, you being a perfect little sentry gun that stands in the middle of the fight and just tap, 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 tap everything that's near you for just consistent, not insane damage, but consistent like 10 to 12 damage around, and that's just your thing. And on top of that, you can do extra stuff. To me, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're asking for too much.
I don't think I am, honestly, because they definitely at some point had the same idea that I did, especially with Astral Self.
But the idea of having really good control and damage is it's just gonna outshine a lot of other classes, would be my thought.
I don't think it will, to BH. I don't even at highest level, when you have a D10 at level 16 or 17, sorry, an old Astral Self, I think you could attack up to 6 times. That's 60-10, yeah. But that's nothing compared to what wizards or sorcerers are throwing out.
But you're talking about bumping their damage.
No more than just making a D4 a D6.
I mean, but you're saying you want them to be good at damage.
I want them to be a little more consistent with damage. That's about it. I think D6 is a good consistent die.
Well, consistent equals better.
Well, it's like, so again, so they don't get a D6 until level 5, which by then they're going to get their extra attack. But still, those first 4 levels, that having a D4,
well, I'm not
your
talking
punch
about,
is weaker than a dagger. Like, that kind of sucks. Like,
well, I'm not talking about just those first 4 levels, though. I'm just saying what Isaiah said is he wants them to have more consistent damage, and I'm thinking about across the board from level 1 to 20. But more consistent damage means better damage. And better damage means you're going to be doing more. And if they're both really consistent and really good at control, then you could potentially risk the problem of like outshining other classes, which is really where balance matters.
I see what you're saying, but I don't think it would be as big as the example is potentially hinting at.
Maybe not.
Well, because if you think about it, right, you're just not doing, even if you could max out at 6 attacks at level 20, you're just not doing as much damage as a fighter on average. Because all of the stuff with Monk is like, oh, you do 1 extra die on 1 attack.
I'm not
you
sure
do
that's
your wisdom modifier on 1 attack, 1 hit, 1 this, 1 that.
Well, if you're doing 60-10 and the fighter's doing 4d10.
Well, it's often 4d10 plus this, plus that, plus this, plus critting.
Well, the monk can
like
crit
if you
too.
run
Actually, the monk is more likely to crit. There's more attacks.
So
well, statistically,
then you start getting
into
you start getting into weird numbers, especially if you're doing stuff like champion, where it's like you crit on an 18. Yeah, you have 6 attacks, but your overall chances are still lower than fucking 15%.
I don't know the math well enough to comment on that particular part of it, but it doesn't seem like at higher level. I don't think their damage is lacking that hard. Lower level,
I
can
think so.
see it.
Yeah, low level, I agree. I think higher level, they'll be fine. And again, they're gonna hit more often at higher levels and more time because they have more chances.
I mean, I don't look into the math that hard anyway, so it's
not fun.
Could be missing, but if they have a consistent 6 attacks, 60-10 versus a fighter with a longsword would be 4d10. Now, granted, there's magic items and shit, but let's not think about those for the moment. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know. They're probably all right. I think classes work best when you pick a strong theme and you lean hard into the theme. So if we want Monk to be control-y guy, then really lean into Monk being control-y guy. So every time they get a hit, they get to do some wacky woohoo shit, Or if you do want Monk to be a damagey guy, then think about, then Monk's damagey guy could be, when I have my ammo, I get to be damagey guy, and when I don't, I'm not so much. Which is essentially how spellcasters work, right? Like, you're damagey guy while you have ammo, and once you run out of ammo, not so much. But again, that comes back to wizards deciding, which I don't think they did. I think when they made Monk, they weren't entirely sure what the fuck they wanted it to be. I don't think they had a clear identity at first.
I remember watching a video. I think it's from DM It All. And I think he said the same thing where like the Monk's identity throughout all of 5e, I think originally came out in like 2nd edition too. The Monk has always been kind of in a weird spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been in a weird spot. And
it's a hard identity to reconcile because you're kind of a rogue, but you're kind of a fighter.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why it's like that fine balancing act of like, what are you?
Yeah. This is always that problem though, right? MMOs have this problem all the time. When the MMO starts and they have the initial lineup of classes, everyone's identity is very clear. Then you add the second expansion and you add a couple of classes maybe. And now it's like, oh, okay, well, we still kind of have a cool idea. And then you start adding on. And now we're like, oh, we don't actually know what we want these like fifth expansion classes to be. I mean, 14 literally just had this problem, right? The new healer Sage comes out and they're like, yeah, we're going to rework the healer identities because before Sage, they were a little ambiguous. And now after Sage, they're going to get really ambiguous. So we're just going to redo it from the ground up. And that's kind of where Monk is at, where it's like, it's kind of ambiguous what he's supposed to be.
You can maybe think about fucking Summoner. Now I'm sad.
That was a different problem. That wasn't an identity crisis.
Doesn't matter. They worked it from the ground up and I hate it.
But I think I mostly lean towards Monk should be damage guy, but they have to be a different kind of damage guy because Rogue is in many ways damage guy. I don't know how that different would be, but
Rogue damage guy?
Yeah, I mean sneak attack.
So, yeah, sneak attack is a very it is.
That's their only damage thing.
It is.
It is, but it is so consistent.
It's also very it's also very like integral.
Yeah.
Like if you take away sneak attack, that's why the meme is funny, right? If you take away sneak attack, they fall apart.
Yes, very badly. I think
Paladin, you could, like, for example, Paladin's another sort of damage guy. You could take Divine Smite away and Paladin will still function. You know? You'll become more of a spellcasting guy.
They have a lot of shit. It would suck, but I mean...
It might not be as fun, but it would still function. Whereas Rogue, if you take away sneak attack, they just don't function.
Well, think about it with the Monk then, like, you know, the whole key thing, not only just like key points, but the ability of like, you know, flurry of blows, patient defense, step of the wind, like those three specifically are like, that's the whole thing for the Monk.
Yeah.
Spend a key point and then you get to do these extra things.
Yeah. These extra things that Rogue does for free.
Yeah, well,
see, that's the problem, right?
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing is I understand why they did it. Like why they put they put the currency counter on that one as opposed to Rogue.
Well, it's also your jump distance is doubled.
You get a little bit more, but not that much more.
Well, to me, the big one is dodge.
The dodge, that's, yeah.
Dodge is powerful as shit.
Yes.
As a bonus action, yeah.
And flurry of blow is also very, because, you know, one extra punch is all you need for that stunning strike to go off.
And a lot of subclasses build off flurry of blow specifically.
Yeah. So I understand why they did it the way they did. I think you should get more for it. Like for me, I think flurry of blows should 100% scale.
Yes.
Like you get another attack on top of that.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
It's like, let's say level 5.
I guess the argument is the martial arts die is how it scales would be the argument.
Yeah, but the martial
it
arts
doesn't
die
scale. It doesn't scale enough.
I mean, it does, but
no, it doesn't statistically.
Well, no, so it scales, but it's not great. I think that's what Josh means.
Yeah,
like,
it scales. It doesn't scale amazing, but it does scale to a degree.
That's what I'm saying. Start off with a D6, then D8, then a D10, D12, and then I don't know what the fuck you do with the max one, like 6.
No, I think
that could be a cool idea actually if their damage die became 2d6 because that would give them a slightly more consistent average.
It would, yeah.
A lot of people would look at that and get confused though, because a lot of people don't think about it that deep, so people would get confused.
Yeah, no, because it's like, why not a D12? And it's like, well,
yeah,
Nimrod. Math is math.
I think the thing with martial arts, or not martial arts, but the key spenders is like, you know, there's two very easy sort of game design camps here. If you're going to give a class an ability and they don't have to spend a resource, the ability can't be that good. If you're going to give the class an ability and they do spend a resource, the ability's got to be better to be worth the resource. Right? Pretty simple, straightforward. If I'm spending something, it should be good. If I'm not spending anything, it should be okay. That's why cunning action is good, but not like blow your fucking brains broken. Patient defense makes sense because the dodge action is pretty strong in 5e, so that one's fine. Fury of blows is like iffy. I waffle back and forth if that one's worth the key point or not. Step of the Wind is just kind of not. Like, Step of the Wind should give you something else. I don't know what else.
Yeah,
but
it's situational.
Else.
If you have to like catch up to someone, if you're like Chris, the Shadow Monk in the 3-year game used to love, like, he's like, Matt, I need big maps. I need to be able to bonus action dash so I can get 100 feet across the map so I can punch one guy and then run another 100 feet the opposite direction.
Yeah, I think the idea with Step of the Wind is supposed to be the disengage part is what makes it powerful, but there's not a lot of reason as a monk to like hit and run, you know? Like there's no impetus for you to hit and run, so the idea of disengage being useful becomes kind of moot.
Well, you could build like the hit and run like I run in, I punch, I stunning strike them, I dip
guess
out,
if you go out of
it.
your way, yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of comes back to moving around in general in 5e is not always that well incentivized. A lot of the time you're better off not moving.
Monk tries to incentivize you, I think.
It does. But
it does.
That's too intrinsic of a game issue. A single class isn't really gonna
you know one thing I will say actually, and this is sort of a subclass for like a subclass problem I have with Drunken Master specifically. Yeah. Drunken Technique should not be a disengage. It should just be fucking dodge. It should just be a dodge. Like,
yeah. Because it also gives you the extra 10 feet, so you disengage and you can get even further away.
Yeah,
but there's no reason to. Yeah, that's the thing, right? There's no reason to.
It also doesn't fit the theme
of Drunken Master. Yeah,
like drunken monks don't just walk away from the fight. They either fall over or sway back, or like
I think the sway back is supposed to be bottle.
Yeah. That's not a disengage. That's a dodge. You're literally dodging them. My big brain, my crackpot theory is that they gave them disengage because they didn't want to give them dodge.
Yeah, they probably felt like dodge was too much.
But I think like if I was gonna run someone who wanted to use Drunken Master, I'd just be like, bro, you can dodge. I don't give a shit. It's better than fucking disengage.
I mean, you gotta think about it. You gotta think about it this way. Drunken Technique is when you activate Flurry of Blows. So you'd be getting extra damage and the dodge action. So you're kind of just shitting on like Reckless Attack, for example, right? Because Reckless Attack is, I'm gonna have a bad time, but I'm trading it for advantage. This is, I'm gonna have a good time and I get more damage. You know what I mean?
Sort of. I think they have different uses because to me, I said this in the Barbarian episode. They do, but I think they have a different intrinsic purpose, which is fucking Reckless Attack is just as much as an advantage as it is a provoke, right? Like you reckless someone because you're like, I'm the one who can take this damage, and you're only gonna be doing half to me, so fuck it.
Yeah, it's taunting without taunting. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Drunken Technique is walk in, bop, bop, bop. All right, I'm gonna go weave back out so I can go take care of these other guys over here with the homies. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like Drunken Master seems like hold on, the barbarian's getting his shit rocked, fucking waddles over, pep, and I slip back into the fight, you know?
Dodge is pretty strong though. And you could do that with disengage anyway, is the thing.
Well, because
you could do that example, right? You could punch a dude, disengage, go over to where the barbarian is, punch another dude, like
move and hit multiple targets. Yeah.
You can still do that. And disengage if you're fighting an opponent in melee and you disengage, you are essentially, you're getting out of the threat range. You are defending yourself in a fashion.
You are. What I'm saying is that was probably the idea that they had when they changed it. If they changed it from dodge, like that was the new reasoning why they made it disengage. Right. That was probably the scenario they had envisioned.
Why didn't they just up its AC?
That or give it resistance to physical. When you're drunk, you don't really feel pain. So like,
I would just up their AC. I would just bump their AC by 2 after they use Drunken Technique. Right?
Yeah,
that's it. Because that's not simple. As strong as dodge, but it's within the same realm.
Which is weird because they hate shit like that. But then it's like shield. It's like, all right, well, it's in the game. Might as well do it. Like,
I get it. You don't want to do it too much, but every once in a while, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that whole thing where they got so afraid of the floating modifier problem that they just threw the baby out real hard with that bathwater, and then they threw another baby out and another baby out, and now we just don't have floating modifiers anywhere except for those occasional other babies in the corner, like shield for some reason and cover, which do have floating modifiers,
which it looks like they're going to get rid of. Thanks, Internet. I hate you.
We just don't talk about those.
Wait, what?
They're not going to get rid of.
Probably shield. Counterspell, like all those spells.
That's such crap.
Probably
that's
not
conspiracy
be a
theory
thing.
Bullshit. That's not happening.
Or not. Like for me, I feel like if you really want to nerf quote unquote shield, then just, I don't know, fucking make it not give you as much AC for level 1.
Just lower the number.
Yeah, and or if you want to keep it at 5, then bump it to a second level spell. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's
they're
not
not
hard.
getting rid of it. This idea that they're just like axing a ton of spells from the game is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I think they're gonna change it or nerf it. Have like
They might nerf
there's
it.
a lot like the monsters that don't have it now. People are like, oh, it's gonna fucking. They're getting rid of counterspell.
Yo, people go down some serious fucking Charlie Day red string bullshit sometimes. I swear to God.
The counterspell thing particularly makes me laugh because I think we talked about it on episode.
We did, yeah.
Counterspell is going to have a place. Basically what they did for that is they were like, we're just not going to call it innate magic anymore because people don't understand what innate magic means because you can't counterspell innate magic. So they just gave it a different name and
They just make them abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make them abilities.
Yeah.
But like,
I
think the solution here is like, I think what they should do is real simple. I feel like we come back to this a lot. Tags, just make tags. If a spell can be counterspell, put in parentheses spell. Whether like if it's a spell on their spell list or an ability on their stat block, if it can be counterspelled, put spell. That's it. That's all you gotta do. And if it can't be counterspell, you don't put spell. You know what I mean? Because some of the abilities, the whole spell-like abilities thing, right? They do come off like spells, but you can't counterspell them because they're abilities. So just put spell next to it. It's very simple.
Before we go any further in this, just to round up this.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to give the ratings.
Yeah. 4. It's a 4 for me.
3
guys,
for me.
what do you?
Yeah, no, I
solid
think,
3 for me, my guy.
Yeah, I think we basically have been answering the question, right? I think it falls on a 3 for me because it's a lot of monk is just like a weird identity crisis. That's a lot of my issue with it. I'm like, what do you want to be? What are you supposed to be? I don't think anyone actually has an answer.
I think when it comes to the class, yeah, but I think the subclasses kind of make up for it because then it's like, all right, do I want to be the Jackie Chan like Kung Fu Master monk? Do I want to be the sneaky assassin monk? Do I want to be Goku?
No, that's not what I'm talking about, Matt. See, you're talking about like the vibe. I'm talking about like mechanically, what is the niche you're supposed to fill? And I don't feel like there's a good answer there. That's the part that's the identity crisis for me. Flavor wise, actually, since you mentioned it, flavor wise, monk is one of the best ones. Like monk has some of the most flavorful. Yeah, that's fair. They have some of the most flavorful subclasses in a lot of ways. I mean, you could basically use Shadow Monk to play a fucking ninja, right? Like,
yeah, that's what Chris did. He was a jackal ninja man.
Yeah, I mean that shit makes total sense. But yeah, like their mechanical niche is the part where I feel like they have a weird identity crisis. And hopefully they'll figure it out, but maybe not. And you know what? At the end of the day, somebody has to be the worst class. Yeah, make everyone happy.
It's not monk for sure. But.
No, it's not. Can we goddamn, can we just not have a bad, like, I don't even honestly, like, haven't done a ranger class. We just talked a shit ton of ranger during the 1D&D episode.
Yes.
So like I don't even think the ranger is like really bad. I just like,
the ranger.
There's only a couple. Oh, sorry. No, what were you gonna say?
Well, here, go ahead, say it.
No, I was just gonna say there's only like a couple of like subclasses of it. Because again, 5e, the shtick is the subclass. It's not the class. It's the subclass. That's the thing that like lets you go. Ooh,
you still have to consider the class though. Like you're not wrong, but the class is still a factor because those base class abilities. Because the base class abilities you're gonna have to deal with regardless of what subclass you pick. So you still have to consider the class.
But the class is the class is your title, is your job, but the title is subclass, and that's the thing that you want.
Kinda. So subclasses don't modify the classes enough for me to justify only looking at the subclass. But
they do, and that's specifically Wizards of the Coast have said that. That's their main thing with 5e.
They don't though. See, we've talked about this. They don't do the thing because if subclasses really went in on the modifications, they'd be doing. Remember we were talking about taking things away and replacing them. If they do that kind of shit, right? Like I was talking about, like
that'd be too complicated, like taking away abilities and like swapping them out and shit, like
replacing abilities or changing abilities based on subclass. I think that's doable.
But certain ones, I remember. Oh God, it's been so long since we
I
talked
feel
about
like this is going to end in a perpetual. It's a
Yeah,
matter
yeah.
of perspective, really.
True.
No, I'm
Because
just
for some things,
what-
I do feel like they changed them enough. For other ones, I don't.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it's not 100%, but what I'm saying is subclasses are only additive, right? They stack on top of what exists. But if they really noodled with the foundation of the class, I would say, yes, the subclass is really the only thing you should care about. But because the foundation of the class is still there, you can't ignore that stuff. You still have
I'm
to
not saying
consider
to
it.
ignore it. Yeah.
Well, you said the subclass was all that matters. I don't think that's fair. Because it's not all. You said the subclass is all
It's
that
the
matters.
main thing.
Yeah, see, but you got to consider the base too.
Yeah, you do. But I'm saying like most people when they look at a class, they're like,
They
look
at what subclasses. I get it, but I'm
Yeah.
saying you can't ignore the because
No, I'm not
the
saying to
reason
ignore
the
it.
reason I'm saying you can't ignore it is because Ranger is an amazing example of why you can't ignore it. Because you can look at Ranger and say, well, I don't really want to play Ranger, but Drake Warden's cool, so I'll play Drake Warden. It's like, that's fine. You're still going to have a bunch of abilities on your sheet that you're going to be annoyed about because they're base Ranger abilities. They're not going anywhere, right? The shit like Natural Explorer and Favorite Enemy, if you don't like the way those work, you're still going to be annoyed about them because they're not going anywhere just because you're playing a Drake Warden or Ranger. The problem with, and Ranger's not bad. Ranger is a class in the wrong game. Ranger is this Ranger is this class that wants to be in a dungeon crawler, and D&D is not a dungeon crawler. You know,
Well, I think
5e.
for
Sorry,
me,
5e is not a dungeon crawler.
for me, right? I think that the big crux of Ranger versus Monk in terms of like the worst class, because we brought this up before. And this is a thought from way back when.
I mean, everyone focuses on damage.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's not even damage. For me, it's with the right GM, Ranger's amazing.
Yeah,
It's fucking integral. But that's
And the
really the
game.
crux.
like what kind of game you're playing.
Well,
Too.
yes,
That-
but I put that a lot on the GM because the GM is the one who's ultimately making those decisions of like what kind of game it is, what formats you're going to see in terms of level design. That's all up to the GM.
That's what I was saying
And
about
if a
it's
GM
in the wrong
sees
game.
that you picked, if the GM sees that you picked a fucking Ranger, and they see that your favorite terrain is forest and desert, and you're playing Mad Mage, well, you're fucked. You're fucked, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Everyone plays 5e as the heroic Lord of the Rings game, and Ranger's really more suited to OG D&D, where you had to go into the dungeon and then you had to make your way through the wilderness back home to safety, right? And when you're playing OG D&D, the Ranger wasn't as good in the dungeon, but that's okay, because when you got into the forest, you got to be really cool. But now, because a lot of people ignore the travel stuff, don't do the dungeon crawly stuff as much, don't track things as tightly as they used to, it makes Ranger seem shit. But really, it's just in the wrong game. You know? And that's essentially what you're saying, Isaiah, is like, if Ranger's in the right game, he's fun, which is in the 5e case means if the DM runs it in a way that you can be cool, you get to be cool. If not, you don't.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I would say if done well, right? If handled well by a good GM, Ranger is far more effective than Monk, in my opinion. So in that instance, I can understand why people would say Monk is the worst class. But given that in a vacuum, Monk just works better, it's Ranger, you know?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
If you take
yeah,
out
100%.
if you take out the environmental factor, Monk works a little bit better. Like in an empty room with nothing else around them, Monk functions better, potentially. Although, well, I won't go too down the Ranger path, but yeah. I was muted. Yeah, that whole. That's part of 5e's whole identity crisis issue, which is like a deeper topic, which I've been thinking about more recently. And I have realized there's a lot of stuff going on there. But yeah, and also, you know, what does worst class even fucking mean? You know? Like a lot of people say X thing is the worst class. And it's like, well, do you mean it's the worst damage? Do you mean it's the least fun to play? Do you mean it's like the most random, you know?
Yeah.
because people are often not even people aren't even consistent with their definition of worse, right? Like,
No, yeah.
a lot of people do not agree on what they mean between
There's
each
a lot
other.
of people are like, oh, Ranger doesn't do him a lot of damage. And it's like, actually, the Ranger can do a fuck ton of damage. However,
They can, yeah.
it's the way you play it, or I guess build, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, mechanically, it's not great. It's like, well, it has some mechanics that are meh, and then it has some that are awesome. But I guess it's like, there's more negatives to it. But yeah, we'll save that for the Ranger episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna rip into Ranger, but that's okay.
Yeah, but Isaiah, I know you've played a monk before, but Josh, have you ever tried your hand at monk?
Yeah, Jorark was a monk.
Jorark, which one? Which
The
one
one
was
that
that?
shoved his arm in the stalagmite with the black pudding in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He was a monk.
nice. What kind of monk was he?
Shadow, I think. I think he was Shadow. I don't really remember, but I'm pretty sure that was. Pretty sure.
Nice. Did you at least like it, like playing the character?
That game was a little rough, so I don't really remember. It was kind of shaky ground. I think that was when we were playing Storm King's Thunder, which is
right.
also not a great campaign. So like,
All right. Preface: the beginning of the campaign is not great.
well,
the
we
rest
didn't
of it
get
is.
past the beginning, Matt.
I know.
So-
I have to always preface because I literally skipped the beginning part and I've had a great time. I feel bad. It's like you guys are like, nope, it's literally the opposite.
Well, we didn't know, and also it was Sam's early foray into GMing, so he didn't want to skip the beginning. He wanted to kind of feel it out, and
Yeah. But Isaiah, what about you? What about I know one in particular, but have you played how many monks have you played?
3 or 4.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Nice, but
I think of that. Hold on.
there's Yato for one.
Yeah, there's Yato. I played them in a lot of like small shit, or like I guested for a while, or I had a character hop out and I brought a monk in. I don't remember their names though. This is when you've got like this is items when you have a million fucking OCs and all you never fucking play them like an idiot. I had the Aasimar one that I didn't get to do with more than like a boss fight. I had Yato. I had the human. Oh, that's where. That's one of Yato's masks actually. Kieran. He was a monk. He was specifically an open hand monk. Oh, and fucking Bulwark. Bulwark's a monk.
he's half monk, yeah.
Yeah. So
Which one's Bulwark?
my
Isaiah's
other character in
secondary
Josh's
character.
game.
Oh, okay.
So, Yato, Bulwark, Eyeless, I think was the Aazimar's name, and Kieran. Yeah, so I played 4.
How many subclasses, or like what subclasses? Like you said, open hand. I know
open
Yato's
hand.
astral self.
Yeah, open hand, astral self, fucking Sun Soul was Eyeless, and Kieran was a Mercy. No, Kensei. He was a Kensei. Yeah, because I very specifically I had him do the like you didn't play this fucking game. The Soul Calibur Cassandra Sophidia like slash punch sort of thing. But he just the shield was just brass knuckle. He just hit him with the brass nasties like.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think I've only played. Oh no, what were you saying?
It doesn't technically count. I also made that one pugilist homebrew that I really like,
Oh,
which is basically a monk with just some different stuff on it. So I did one of those as well. Also, that was a different version of the same character, Kieran. Didn't know what that character wanted to be for a while.
I think I've only played. Yeah, I've only played 2 monks. One was a Dragonborn Shadow Monk. That originally I was gonna do because in Storm King's Thunder, my main character was being a wizard off in his tower studying, and the group was like, "Well, we need a 6th person." I'm like, "I'll just make a side guy. We'll hang around for a little bit and then dip when the lizard wizard shows up." So I made a lizard monk, and he was it was great when I was able to. We were in a big boss fight against a bunch of stone giants, and I shadow stepped onto the shoulder of a stone giant stunned him by punching him in the ear. And then our cleric's like, I cast Moonbeam directly on the or not Moonbeam. I forgot what it was. It's like a super powerful spell, basically blasting a sunbeam down from the sky.
Both Sunbeam and Moonbeam.
Maybe Sunbeam? Something like
exist.
that. And he specifically was like, I was saving he was holding his action to cast it on like any stone giant. And because for some reason that he just picked that one, and I'm like, bruh, I'm here. He's like, yeah, but my character can't see that you're on the shoulder. I'm like, but bruh, I'm right. It's me, Matt, the player. What do you do? Bruh, PvP, what are you doing? And he's like, yeah. And this is where I hate the line, it's what my character would do. It's like, yeah, well, my character can't see me. And it's like, yeah, well, my character can't see what your address is, but I know what your address is. And I'm coming. So yeah, he daylighted the shit out of me.
My character doesn't know what your address is, but I do.
So
That's such a good thread.
So I got
That's a good one.
sunbeamed
I like that one.
Yeah.
from as a shadow monk, and then couldn't shadow monk anymore. So that was fun. And then I played for Joe ran a mini campaign where it's basically just Coliseum fighting, and that's where I got the drunken mastered monk, the Githzerai, back when no one ever played Githzerai, and it was like, yeah, finally, it's like I could be one of like the 1% of people who actually tried this race because they're cool.
Bro, it's so weird that the Githyanki and the Githzerai are two different species. I think that was such a weird decision.
I liked when they were sub races, but now that they're separate, like that in like the fucking whatever, the Mordenkainen 2 Electric
Monsters
Boogaloo
of the Multiverse.
Yeah, that thing. Like, it's weird. Like, I don't know. I'm still I get why they did it. I'm still kind of weirded out by it's like, was that extra step really? Having it be a sub race? Was that really confusing people?
Well, because the weird thing for me, right, is that they're the same, like, because they're using species now, right? And that's got its own slow problems. They are the same species.
They are. They're just two different sects. And
it's just cultural differences between the two of them.
And there literally is a sect of them. Like I don't know if they said this in the multiverse book, but in Tome of Foes, there literally is a sect of Githyanki and Githzerai that want to fuse both sects back together and are working towards peace with each other. And I think that's so cool. But I think in the multiverse book, they got rid of that. And they're like, yeah, no, they're just two different things now. And it's like, what the fuck?
It is worth pointing out the species distinction thing they made after that book came out. So
yeah,
they did, but not that much after. Like, not enough for it to not feel really weird.
With the Tome of Foes book or the multiverse book? Because
multiverse versus 1D&D's nuts.
Yeah. Because that
you could just say 1D&D sometimes.
No, I've just glommed on this bit.
I want them to. God, I don't even know what they
to change. I just do
it is gonna change when it releases. That's not.
It's just gonna be the D&D.
It's a working title. I don't
know. At this point, I just think it's fucking funny to say 1D&D's nuts.
True. But no, some of my players started doing it now too.
Damn it.
What I'm saying, Matt, I don't know, Josh. For someone who's one of their character traits is dick jokes are my passion, I feel like you would have glommed onto this as well.
What I was saying, Matt, is that the 1D&D species distinction thing came out after the Mordenkainen Presents book.
Yeah.
Also, with the Mordenkainen Presents book, they separated a lot of the species out into their own sections, but lore-wise, they are still subspecies of each other.
Right, yeah, lore-wise. It's just odd. It's not, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying like, oh, it ruins my gaming experience. It's just weird. And I'm just like, all right. I'm like, all right, sure.
I don't know. I think it's fine for clerical purposes.
But, anywho's, because I do want to do this one before the quintessentials. What's your favorite subclass, guys? There's Monk and John. Like you agreed with me. We agreed on something. World peace has been achieved. The Monk flavorfully, the subclasses. You think they're cool? The vibe of Monk, like flavor wise, you like them too?
I don't want to answer anymore, but yes.
What the
unnecessary sass.
Oh my god! Come
That was
on,
sassy.
I'm joking.
That was very
I'm
sassy of you.
joking with you.
But yes,
What's your favorite subclass of monk?
don't have one.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I can't pick. I haven't really looked. Like, I like the problem is a lot of them I like the idea of, and then the execution's a little wonky. Like, I kind of like the idea of Drunken Master, but some of the abilities I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
Mercy is what the fuck. I don't know. Probably just Dragon, because dragons.
I'm cool.
Actually, I do really like Ancestral. Maybe it's Astral Self.
Yeah,
Astral Self is
Jojo.
my favorite, hands down.
It'd actually be Astral Self now. Ah, I do love Kensei though too.
Yeah, see, there you go.
I would Kensei would be my favorite if it didn't fucking infuriate me.
Why was it infuriating?
Because it's not the flavor literally does not match the subclass.
Of the weapon monk?
Yeah, well, because you're not a weapon monk. You're not a weapon monk. That's not what this is.
Go ahead, Isaiah.
It's called Kensei.
Just pop
Kensei is
off.
Japanese for sword and saint, i.e. fucking samurai, and that is not at all what the flavor for Kensei monk is. Kensei monk's flavor is like weird, like I use a monk spade and I'm still a Buddhist monk and I use like the deer horn knives and fucking bow staves and shit. And it's not at all what the fuck. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. And there's some of it that has like kind of katana-esque things, right? Like the fucking Kensei shot, right? Like the cool like draw, like, and then oh yeah, you got the calligraphy, yay! That thing that no one fucking uses, but it's fine.
I paint real good.
Yeah, it just makes me so mad because when I first saw we were getting Kensei, I was like, fuck yeah, samurai monk. I want this so bad. And it wasn't at all what I wanted, but it also wasn't not what I wanted. It just wasn't what I wanted. And I know that doesn't make any sense. Fuck you. Okay.
I still one day, because actually one of my players when we played Icewind Dale, they did the gun monk, the Kensei monk that uses a gun. But they were like playing a cyborg. I want to be a cowboy monk so badly. I don't know why. I have this dumb obsession with it ever since the gun feat came out. But now it's like I really want to play a Kensei monk cowboy, and you know it's hard derp and just like you know.
Especially because I'm sorry, I'm stuck on this because Samurai Fighter sucks. It's just not good, and then fucking I'm so literally cries. I trust.
To streamline the point of Isaiah's hysteria, what he's saying is Isaiah has an understanding of the history of the word and was expecting something more closely related to that. What we got was a relation to the pop culture understanding of the word. And that is not what Isaiah wanted.
It's not even the pop culture understanding.
The pop culture understanding is what we got.
It's not though. That's not what we got.
It is, because the pop culture understanding is the Buddhist monk with the like weaponized shovel thing. That's what everyone.
Yeah, but why did you call it the fucking?
Because that's what people think that means.
No, it's not even the same culture.
I know that. No, Isaiah. I know people are not correct, but that's what people think that means.
How one is Chinese, one's Japanese?
I don't know, but it's just one of those. It's the same. And look, it's the same. Right, it's the same thing of people thinking that. It's the same as people thinking like ninja and samurai are the same shit, right? It's a misunderstanding of Oriental history. Actually, why? I don't know why.
You said the word.
I don't know why I said that. It is a misunderstanding of East Asian history and people glomming countries like China, Vietnam, Korea, Japan all into one big giant mega country. They are not, but that's what people think.
Resist stupidity impulse.
So the pop culture understanding when you say Kensei monk is the Buddhist monk who does the thing where they have the combat shovel and they walk around and they bury the person after they beat their ass and they carry those weird like Chinese hook moon blade things.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
That's what people think that means. And so D&D went with the sort of weird pop cultural misunderstanding. Now, whether that's good or bad, different thing, but that's what happened.
You know what's funny? For all the dumb shit that people attack 5e for, you'd think that'd be one of them. It's not. And I don't want it to be, but you'd think that'd be one of them. Of the myriad of dumb shit that they get attacked for.
I assume it's just a general not knowing what the word actually comes from, so people don't know.
That's not an excuse.
I assume why it's not a well enough known thing for people to come after it, would be my guess.
Like that one anime who like they named like their character like this is the bad guy Beelzebub, and the other bad guy Satan, and the other bad guy the devil, and it's like, hold up.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't think I will say this. I feel like it's unfair, Isaiah, for you to get mad at Kensei Monk because you thought it was one thing and you got another thing. Like, you could be frustrated, but you had expectations based on nothing, you know, like.
No, I had expectations based on fucking language. Like, this is the fucking Thief Rogue thing where like, base Thief Rogue, you barely do any thief shit. You just get weird fucking abilities.
Oh,
well, that one we has talked some about cultural history there. That's a little different, but I'm just saying you jumped on the name before you actually saw what it was going to be, which is kind of at least a little bit on you.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all. I'm gonna be hundo with you, Chief.
Like, you can make some presumptions, but without actually having seen what it was beforehand, it's unfair of you to assume it was going to be a samurai.
Why? That's what it's supposed to be.
Let me actually. I just want to read the description.
I mean,
let's see.
My main thing is, if I were to look at a monk subclass, I would not assume it's going to be a samurai, because that's not very monk-esque, I feel like, in the way that D&D is. Because D&D is basing it on Buddhist monks, mostly.
Yeah, like listen, Kensei monks, they train relentlessly with their weapons to the point where their weapon becomes an extension of their body. Founded in mastery of sword fighting, the tradition of expanding, including other different many weapons. So, yeah, they even put it there that it started off with a mastery of sword fighting, but then you can use, whatever fucking weapon.
They wanted to use a word people would know, I guess. Also, is there a name for the Chinese Buddhist monk version of this?
Monk. A warrior monk. This is it. You're just a warrior
monk. Well, you
monk.
can't call the subclass monk.
You can't be monk.
The fuck?
I am the monk.
I'm monk. Yeah,
just call it weapon master. Just call it weapon master monk.
Well, they have weapon great. Well, Oh no,
because here's the thing. Here's the thing. The word Kensei literally translates to sword saint.
Yeah, but in English it sounds cool.
I actually would be madder if they called it sword saint and they were like, oh well, you can do sword fighting, but it's not really about, like, for me, I said it before with the fighter thing, right? Like, when I think sword saint, I think like footwork, so stuff that lets you like kind of like the bait and switch that fighter has, right? Being able to move around the enemy, having things that let you, like, it makes your deflection better, right? Your deflect missiles better. I want something that like allows you to cleave enemies. Like, I want stuff that gives you like because I don't really care about the Kensei weapon. Like, fuck, who gives a shit?
I was gonna say, would you have been happier if they said like only a bladed weapon?
I mean,
sword.
I would just say the weapons that, like, samurai used, like, give them a halberd, or a glaive, a sword, and a bow. Like, that's your monk weapons. Like, they had other shit, sure, but like,
but people
those are your things.
What if people also want to do the weird fantasy thing and just have all sorts of, like,
what if I want to be a cowboy? What if I want to be a cowboy monk?
You can samurai used guns too. That's fine.
I mean, you could. I think you're being a little restrictive. Should they have maybe not used the word Kensei? Sure. Should they have called it Weapon Master Monk? Yeah, I guess you could have called it the Way of the Weapon Master.
Yeah, but Kensei sounds cooler.
They chose Kensei because it sounds cooler. That's almost certainly a why. But I don't think the subclass would be as fun if you restricted it down to like swords, bows, glaives.
Yeah, especially now with like the Tasha's thing where they like can pick a dedicated weapon anyways.
Also, a lot of people want to do the like weird fucking, Jackie Chan, I fight with a frying pan nonsense too, which I think is also kind of what this is for.
You see, it would be, but this doesn't let you use improvised weapons.
Well, what if I reflavor?
You can reflavor the entire weapon list as opposed to just the three that you said. Like, yes, it probably should have a thing about improvised weapon, but the point is you could reflavor the whole weapon list as opposed to a small list. I get it. You're mad about the use of the word. I get that part. I get it. I don't know. This for me, right? This would be if you did like Conjurer Wizard, and like you got nothing that'll let you summon shit when summoning is most of the conjuration spells. You know what I mean? And I don't mean summoning monster. I mean like summoning a thing, teleporting, which is you just sort of summoning yourself to a different location, right? Like if Conjuration Wizard didn't have, I still hate that excuse.
That's what it is, though. That's literally what it is.
I kind of like it. It's a different way of looking at teleporting. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like it. But,
get it, but I don't like it.
I just, I don't know. Like, and they tried too. I'm sorry. I'm almost done with this. They tried, right? Because they did say stuff like, oh, sword fighting, and they specifically called out bows, which is good. And then you get like Way of the Brush, which.
Well,
sure,
that's a reference to samurai.
I know. It's a nice
time.
Consolation prize. Thank you very much.
They do acknowledge it a little bit, right? That's the thing.
Yeah. Like, you know what's funny? That's a good ribbon ability. That's a good little tie on. It's not like samurai where it's like this is one of the things you get. It's like this one is like here's a little thing at the end.
Yeah. So if you give it to the player, they'll probably be more likely to use it.
If they had called it Way of the Weapon Master, Isaiah wouldn't have given a shit, is really what we're getting at here.
Pretty much. Straight up. Not even gonna front.
But that's not as cool, Isaiah. I like Sword Saint Monk instead.
No, I don't like. No. I don't like Sword Saint. No. I don't like Sword Saint Monk. I'm fine with Kensei as a word. Sword Saint sounds a little weird. But yes, they should have called it Weapon Master because that's really what they were getting at. Because they're not going to call it the Monk. Obviously. Although now I'm going to forever refer to Kensei Monk as the Monk. Because, yeah. Anyway, what's your favorite, Isaiah?
You said Astral Self. It's Astral Self because I like being a JoJo character. And I don't care when people say that it's cringe that people are like, oh, that's not really. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Yes, it is.
They just haven't.
Well, I'm going to say my favorite's Kensei just to annoy Isaiah.
That's fine. You can say that.
Isaiah, don't worry. They just haven't sucked enough dick. It's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's true.
Very
true. Yeah, no, just people. I just laugh. People are like, "Stop putting your anime OC into my D&D." Okay, D&D's anime is shit. First of all, if you don't recognize that, you're a fucking clown.
Especially 5e when it's a power fantasy, like a motherfucker.
Yeah, 5e is very anime. I'm not.
I like you can literally see the writing on the wall. Like, what is Astral Self? You're either a fucking common writer or you're a JoJo character. Those are the two you get, and they're both anime as shit. So if you got, if you're telling me that it's not, you can suck my nuts.
You could maybe make the argument that Astral Self is a reference to the sort of spiritualism.
It is
side of monk stuff where
if you read the flavor text,
astral projection and shit like that, right? Yeah. You could make a pretty strong argument that that's where it's pulling from.
Right. And they even have the little, they have like, so what is it, the little sentence or two of like, this is what Way of the Astral Self is. And then under that in a big block, it's like forms of your astral self. And basically like it embodies your soul. Here's what it looked like. It can be, your soul, a JoJo character, although, and, anything. Now aura, like fucking,
now that I'm thinking about it, and now that I just said that, JoJo stands are basically based on that history too. So, yeah. So it's I mean the idea of a JoJo stand is
also
from Chinese mysticism in a lot of ways. So yeah.
People being like, oh, it's like there's like an animalist sense. I just like to put forward that Kamen Rider's a fucking grasshopper. So
Kamen Rider also has some Shintoism stuff in it too, right?
Yeah.
So
except for that one crank guy. Fuck that guy.
Yo, Matt with his weird rage against that dude from Revice.
He was so deadpan serious, and then cranking his little Jack in the Box can like or
not Revice. Are these from Doubles? I don't know.
Oh my
anyway,
God,
Matt.
so fun. Anyways, my favorite. So if Way of the Four Elements just wasn't so bad,
if you could actually play the Avatar.
It probably would have been my favorite, to be honest. It's just like, the Avatar, the fucking the spell monk.
Yeah.
It's such a cool idea. How the fuck they mess it up.
What I haven't read. I'm a big Unreal Engine 4 here.
Okay, so
I haven't read it that closely. What exactly is the issue with Way of the Four?
So the issue is because like the monk, you have to spend key in order to do anything, and most of those abilities are like spells. That you get certain spells. It's not that you get a spell list; you get certain spells, and then you get 4 specific abilities. Each one is based on one of the 4 elements. But the problem is they cost so much key in order to do anything that's not worth it. It's like you might as well just play a spellcaster if you just want the spells.
They're too much money for how much they are valued at. Okay.
And so like as cool as they are, it's just not worth it at the end. It sucks. It's like I want to play this so badly, and if anyone who actually does want to play it, James Hake, great fucking game designer, worked on a bunch of different projects, works for a bunch of different companies.
Works for Ghostfire at the moment.
Right now, works for Ghostfire, worked for, Critical Role, Wizards of the Coast, fucking all over the place.
He did the Tal'Dorei Reborn book.
Yeah.
Primarily.
He has an article on, if you type in Monk 101 Way of the Four Elements by James Hake, he actually has like a whole like thing describing it, what the drawbacks are of it, and how if he was dungeon mastering someone playing Way of the Four Elements, how he would fix it. And one would be like reduce a lot of the key costs of some of the elemental disciplines. Give them extra spells, like they learn a couple extra cantrips. Maybe they can learn more disciplines at higher levels. It's just simple fixes. They'll make it better.
And though. Fucking I hate the subclass design of this is the class but with spells.
Well, that's what a lot of the player's handbook thing they kind of mix.
I hate it.
Like if you look at the
they don't do that so much anymore for a good reason.
The Circle of Land Druid,
yeah,
it's a wizard.
Yeah.
It's the spell druid. Yeah. It's basically get arcane recovery. I'm
a little more accepting of it with like druid because they're already a spellcaster, but a lot of the other like the marshals, they do it where they're like, this is the marshal but with spellcasting, and I'm just kind of like, most of them are bad executions.
If the execution's good, like if you look at Arcane Trickster's compared to but then comparing that to Eldritch Knight, and you're like,
this Eldritch Knight is bad. My thing with Way of the Four Elements.
And you look at Blade Singer and cry.
You look at Blade Singer and cry at how amazing it is. Yeah.
The Eldritch Knight is crying in the corner, like, I want to be that.
My thing with Four Elements Monk is, my train of thought, if I were to make an Avatar Monk, would not be to give them a bunch of elementally themed spells, because that's like the laziest and easiest way to do it.
Right. Well,
my train of thought would be give them cool abilities that are specifically related to the style of element.
They do,
which is what what they did with Rune Knight. Right. Do it like Rune Knight.
So they do, kind of. They have 4 elements. They get these. It's called elemental disciplines of the elements, and it's basically a whole list of things, kind of like Eldritch Invocations, but they're spells. So like at 17th level, you can spend 6 key points to cast Cone of Cold.
Yes, I don't like that.
But then they have 4 specific ones that are tied to elements, like the one I mentioned earlier, the Unbroken Air. You blast compressed air that strikes someone through your fist. You spend 2 key points and choose a creature within 30 feet. They have to make a strength save. If they fail, they take 3d10 bludgeoning damage, plus an extra 1d10 damage for an additional key you spend. And they're pushed 20 feet away from you and knocked prone.
Yeah, see, that's a good one.
That's a lot. That's cool.
That one I like.
Fucking air blast.
That's the thing fucking Tenzin did in Korra, where he just like air punched someone off a fucking cliff.
Yeah. And then they have
one I like.
The water whip.
Now I just thought of John Halo.
John, shut the fuck up.
What? Why? What?
When the elites just get blasted off the temple.
Don't get the fuck out of here. Don't bring that garbage into this.
But yeah, they do that. They have the water whip one where it's like they spend 2 key points and they target creature 30 feet, make a dex save. They take 3d10 bludgeoning damage plus extra 1d10 bludgeoning plus knock prone or pulled 20 feet closer to you.
Yeah,
those are kind of simply do the same.
The idea though of just giving them spells is like so bleh.
Right, and they're flavored as like Gong of Summit.
Yeah, sure. You
level,
can flavor
spend
them, but
3 key to cast Shatter.
I get what they're going for, but nah.
No, that's why
Just
it's like
take those base elemental abilities and give them more of those as they level. That's how I would do it. And I do like the idea though of having a subclass that uses the key points more than the other ones. But it has to be like
the cost isn't worth it. It's like I have to spend 6 or 7 key points to cast a 5th level spell.
Yeah, it has to be
Why
worth
can't
it.
I just get, make me a quarter caster or some shit? Fuck.
Yeah.
Give me spell slots. Make my life easier. But honestly, my favorite class probably just because of, again, my buddy Chris, like Shadow Monks, and just watching a Shadow Monk go from level, because he joined the campaign at level 6. All the way to 20, and watching the progression of Monk and the crazy nonsense you can do as a Shadow Monk. 3rd level, you get a bunch of cool spells.
Yeah, it's weird though because you only get those spells.
Yeah.
You only get those spells though. You don't get any other ability at 3rd level, which I think is kind of goofy.
Yeah, well, I think because I guess they're getting spells. Granted, like spending 2 key points to cast them, and then you get Minor Illusion Cantrip for free, which is nice. Yeah. But they're all good spells. Like, you cast Darkness, that works. Pass Without Trace, great. Silence, great.
Well, Darkness and Dark Vision are kind of funny because, like,
you can't use it for Darkness, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like, okay, so I get that the idea is like, oh, you cast Darkness and then you cast Dark Vision on yourself so you can see in your own darkness, but like, wait, that doesn't even work, does it?
Nope.
No, you can't see in your own darkness.
So then
darkness is magical darkness.
Yeah. So wait, huh? There should be a clause you can see in your own darkness there.
I think I don't remember if they get it later on or he found a magic item that let him do it. I don't remember, but eventually he was able to do that.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Yeah, but then again later on, like
what's the logic?
Level 6, the Shadow Step, fucking great, so cool. Teleport 60 feet in dim light or darkness as a bonus action, and then you have advantage on the first melee attack you make before the end of your turn. Super neat.
That's got some ranger energy though, because if you're always just fighting out in the great outdoors,
right? Well,
you could get screwed on that one,
right? Because he did use it. Like there was like certain limits that I was like, hey man, so like I'm not like I don't think you can use I don't think you should be able to use this for like a human. And Snee, like you just teleport, and he's like, that's fair. But like an ogre, something huge, a table. It was like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. You could do that.
What do you
if you're like outside or whatever, but like used in dungeons, used in caves.
Wait, what do you mean use a human?
So like, let's say there's a human like a bandit, and the bandit is casting a shadow.
Oh, the shadow of the person.
Huh?
You're talking about the shadow of the person.
The shadow of the bandit. I thought you meant
just like use the human being. I was like, what?
No, yeah. He teleported. He became the bandit. I gave him the stat block, and then he went over, and then he used the shit. Yeah, eventually we had to like. I was like, all right. I'm like, it doesn't really make sense if you like shadowing coming from someone like a human shadow who's like shorter than you. I was like, that's kind of weird.
Well, then you just do the thing where every time he's fighting, the sun is always behind him. So shadows go the other way.
Yeah. Although, eventually Joe's character, when they got to, again, high level nonsense, he eventually got this spell called Wall of Light, which just stopped the Shadow Monk from doing anything because you have this giant beam of sunlight, this wall made of light, and he's like, my eyes, I can't do anything, and literally would get mad and just sit in the corner. He's like, bro, I can't teleport, I can't get out, I'm fucked. And Joe just shrugged, being like, but yeah, I do, but look at all my damage.
Look at all that damage.
That would get me so fucking mad. It is worth noting though, Shadow Monk is terrifying at night.
Oh my god, yeah, he was.
You basically can go anywhere. You can do anything.
Yep. He could be invisible.
Yeah. You just fuck people up.
I think.
Nighttime Shadow Monk.
He was a 3 level rogue and then a 17 level monk. So he got the opportunist. Whenever a creature is within 5 feet of you is hit by an attack made by a creature other than you, you use your reaction to make a melee attack against that creature. Which is great if no one can see you and you're in darkness and it's at nighttime and you're invisible and you cast the darkness spell.
I feel like the darkness spell's been overboard there, but all right.
Nah, it's an extra precaution.
I suppose.
Yeah. Also, yeah. Again, and then another like magic monk. Monks with spells, monks with magical abilities. It's cool.
Yeah, but it's not just spells with this one.
No,
you know?
it's not just spells. No,
They don't
that's
lean
why.
in
That's why I
entirely on the
really
spells
like
into
it.
It's better. I'm still look. I will never be a fan of the subclass giving you spells. I always find that lazy design wise, but it's better with Shadow Monk.
Well, this one because it's so the 4 spells they give you are so specific to the class and what the flavor of the class is, what the class is supposed to do. This is the monk who's supposed to sneak in, like kidney punch, and then you don't hear it.
my problem. My problem
You
with
don't hear it, you don't see the kidney punch.
yeah,
Just piss and blood for a week.
you just die.
Yeah.
It's worth noting that that's another ability that you just get for freebies. It's just one of the things that you have now.
My problem is always with this subclass gives you spells from whatever list is that always feels less cool than getting a special ability from my subclass, because getting spells is like, oh, here's some spells that the wizard can also cast. So you're not really that cool. You know, like I want subclass abilities to be unique to the subclass, but because spells are given to so many different things, then you could be like, oh, look at my cool subclass ability, this spell I cast, and then the wizard casts the exact same spell next to you, and you're like, all right, well, why am I here then?
True. I think it makes up for it as the 6th level ability, the Shadow Step. I feel like they're like, Shadow Step is the main feature of this class, but we can't give it to them at 3rd level.
No, I know. I get it. I just, like, Shadow Arts, I wouldn't just give them Dark Vision, Darkness, blah, blah. I wouldn't give them a spell list. I would give them abilities that do, like, a similar thing. I would be like, you could create a darkness that you can see within. Also, you can, like, give yourself advantage on stealth checks, blah, blah, blah. Like, I would do something like along those lines. Because then it feels more unique to your subclass, because that's kind of the whole point of subclasses abilities, is they're supposed to feel really unique. It's that niche protection.
Yeah.
Whatever. Wizards hates me. It's fine.
Well, yeah, Shadow Monks. I really like open. I want to call it open palm, but I know it's called open hand. Yeah, I really like classic. Yeah, open fingies, like jab, quivering palm is probably one of the coolest high level abilities a class can get. And the dragon's real cool because Dragon Monk. Although I don't remember what the nerf was. They nerfed one of the high level abilities. They decreased the range of it and the damage and fucking pissed everybody off.
Shrug, whatever.
I feel like there's one more. Oh yeah, Jojo Monk. Everyone likes Jojo Monk. But yeah, and so my I guess, yeah, do you guys want to, yeah, I'll go first, I guess, with the quintessential monk thing, because I have a lot, but like I couldn't like really specifically pick one because there's so many good examples.
All right, and just time to get that fun part where Matt gives a bunch of examples that I disagree with. Let's go.
Well, no, I'm only gonna I'll give mine, and then when the 3 of us I can give a couple of the examples here because it's a lot. It's a lot of shit. Most of these are from comics or TV or anime or whatever the fuck. The one I'm gonna go with.
Most of these are from all mediums ever.
Cool. Yeah, cool. All mediums. Yeah, every single one. I'm gonna go with Daredevil, because I know a lot of people that actually try to do this in D&D, and I think he fits the bill of like the guy. He's at one with himself. He uses the sticks he uses, the stabs. What are those?
The Eskrima sticks.
Yeah, he uses those. He's got the blind sense thing is a thing that I know so many people who play D&D and play monk specifically want to do.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a thing. Like they want to be either I'm the blind monk or I'm the monk with the super like tough heightened senses around me.
There's a lot of movies about that.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a I don't want to say it's a trope of a monk, but it's like it's a thing. It's a thing that someone associates a monk to be able to do.
No, I mean that's a trope.
Okay, then yeah, trope. Yeah, but I'm gonna just
the blind monk is a trope.
Very dexterous. Fucking, he's a brawler. I think Daredevil is a pretty good example. I would say, at least in my mind. Both when he's in the black ninja outfit and like Red Devil Man.
What about that hot yellow though, Matt?
Ooh, the gold chrome. Ooh,
The
it's
yellow
so
with
shiny.
with the red leotard
And he's
center.
slamming She-Hulk right now. You can't wait. They're gonna have the weirdest kids.
I was talking about the OG comic outfit where he's fucking yellow.
Oh, that's what he's in Marvel now.
Yeah, but no. The
Like
the
gold.
Marvel
Yeah, I know.
version
It's
is much
gold.
better.
That
OG yellow one is woo boy.
yeah. Oh no, he's dying.
Matt, shut up! I'm muting myself.
I can
Stop referencing it. You're gonna sound like an idiot.
Nope. But yeah, what about you guys, Josh?
You just said you had a bunch of examples.
I was gonna wait. Josh, I do the thing where I say it after. So that way, I'm not repeating myself if I say one of yours, which I don't think I will be, but just in case. But yeah, what's your quintessential monk?
I fucking guess. My quintessential is it's a very specific version of this character. Talking about the old version of this character, because I don't really feel like the new version fits this vibe anymore, but the old version when he was a young child did. It's Goku, but specifically Kid Goku.
Check him off the box. I had him on here too.
Kid Goku with the Power
Dragon
Ball
Ball.
and the Nimbus. Son Goku, the Monkey King reference Goku. Is
Dragon Ball Goku. Then.
Yeah, he does the running on the walls. He does the fucking catching arrows and bullshit. He has the weird ki energy nonsense, obviously, because Kamehameha. New Goku, I don't really think is a monk anymore because DBZ's gotten insane. But
I would say, what point in DBZ do you think he stopped becoming a monk?
Wait, no, he's a Sun Soul monk.
yeah, sort of. But DBZ's so OP and over the top and ridiculous. He basically is doing wizard level bullshit. Like he's so out there that I don't call him a monk anymore. He's just a different thing. I think old Goku, yes. New Goku, they're gods and all this other bullshit. It's just too much. I don't think new Goku applies to any class. I don't think you can apply him to anything. He's too over the top. I think he mostly stopped becoming a monk after Raditz. After the Raditz fight.
DBZ.
The beginning of DBZ, yeah. Once he started fighting Vegeta and the Kaioken stuff started really ramping up and everything, and the Spirit Bomb and yeah.
Like some of the Astral Self abilities specifically are like, this is definitely a Dragon Ball reference, like later on where it's like, yeah, they gain like, they fucking glow and shit, and they can fucking sprint real
there's references,
fast, like,
but
almost like flying.
DBZ got so focused on the key power bullshit that it just doesn't fit that vibe anymore. Like it's still there a little bit. There's still a little bit of martial artsy reference in there, but not the same as when it was Dragon Ball.
Yeah, what about
Isaiah's
you?
Isaiah's just dead apparently.
No, because I have my actual answer and then I have the pre-prescribed. Isaiah says something really weird.
Oh god damn it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the easiest one is Ryu. Like Ryu is a monk. Like
Ryu from
Street Fighter.
Oh,
my man said Ryu from.
Dude, I don't know. I don't play fighting games.
It's Street Fighter, Matt. It's the original.
Dude, I know Mortal Kombat.
You didn't know his name was Ryu.
Oh, which
Ryu from Streets?
Wait. All right, hold on.
With the Hadouken.
This is gonna be even worse. So he's the guy in the white with the red headband. He's not the blonde dude in the red. Okay,
no.
That's all right. Cool.
No, but they are both monks.
Okay. No, I'm asking because I don't know shit about Street Fighter.
I mean, both Ken and Ryu count.
Again, I'm sorry. If he was like Mortal Kombat, I'll be like, yeah, Scorpion, I know that guy. Oh, please.
Matt, Street Fighter came first.
I don't believe that.
Matt, it's the progenitor of the genre.
I'm actually gonna go to your house and kick your fucking ass.
Fucking Christ, Matt. Holy shit.
This is Mortal Kombat.
He's the guy on the box art, Matt. He's the guy on the box art with the headband. I don't understand that you don't know who it is.
I didn't know his name. I just thought he was the Street Fighter.
You didn't know his name? You thought his name was Street Fighter?
Yeah.
I'm
named it after him, right? He's the Street Fighter.
No, shut up. No, he's not.
You did not just say my man.
He fights cars.
You did not just say my man Ryu is named Street Fighter. You thought his name was John McStreet, like his birth certificate said Street Fighter.
Bro, I don't know shit about Street Fighter. I don't know nothing. I know absolutely nothing.
This is where I'm actually with Josh in this one. You deserve to get belittled for this.
This is Matt. This is the same energy as thinking Link's name is Zelda. Same energy. Get the fuck out of here. Or thinking Samus's name is Metroid. Fuck out of my house. God damn. This is Halo. This is calling Master Chief Mr. Halo. That's what this is.
Dad, are you playing Halo again? No, Mom, this is The Witcher.
God damn. Anyway, Isaiah.
Yeah, no, my weird one is Afro from Afro Samurai.
Oh shit, Afro, yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Afro Samurai is awesome.
Okay,
Fuck
why?
yeah.
Why? All right, let me tell you why. Right?
Hell yeah, dude.
So
go
he's
for
definitely
it.
a Kensei monk, and he has a lot of the things that like make him pretty indicative of being actually a monk, right? Right. You have like your focus mode, and they specifically say that the headbands do grant you a modicum of power, which he can use to like move really fast and deflect just straight up deflect bullets. Like he can catch bullets and throw them back at people with his sword, which is kind of fucking wild. He also he can't run up walls in the same way that a monk can just walk up a wall and then slowly slide down.
He did run on the side of a wall.
That's what I was gonna say. We've literally seen him run across the side of a wall and jump. Also, when he has the #1 headband, he no longer feels the effects of age, which they call immortality, but he does get visibly older even though he has the #1 headband.
True. Also, I like did you ever watch the behind the scenes with the creator when he like talking about like the design of Afro Samurai and like the story and everything? He literally is like, what if I just made a basketball player a samurai? You're like, wait a minute. He's like, I just wanted him to be able to jump real good.
Jump
like a basketball player. You're like, hold up.
Yeah, he literally does. He also does do the samurai jack. You can fly? No, jump good. Like
jump good. Yeah, and he it's so fucking
he can
great.
also for somehow just shrug off the worst ailment. He gets poisoned with like fucking cyanide or some shit, and he passes out, but he gets back up and he's like, okay, we got to keep moving, and just starts walking again. You're like, Afro, how are you doing this? He also, I was at 10,000 feet elevation and I almost fucking keeled over. Afro's at 20,000 foot elevation climbing Mount Everest with no oxygen tank, and they have oxygen tanks because Ninja uses one. So yeah, he's just walking. He literally did the monk like kicks dust off of shoulder, just refuses the fucking ailment. Yeah,
there's a character named Ninja.
Yeah, that's his weird imaginary friend / actual to being, who's also
conscious?
Technically a god of the universe.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring over my box set, Josh. We're gonna watch Afro Samurai one day.
Yeah, I know.
We get drunk and watch Afro Samurai together.
Anyway, is that your more committal answer, as Afro?
No, that's my weird answer. That works completely and 100%.
I was gonna say I don't think that's that weird of an answer.
No, it's just unexpected.
It's probably I don't fuck. Is it obscured now?
Yes. Afro Samurai is 100% obscure.
A little. I don't know about 100%, but it's a little more.
I would just say Kamen Rider Ichigo, because that's no one really knows who that is. He's the first Kamen Rider, the Masked Rider specifically. But like, I've been on a weird Kamen Rider kick lately, so everybody would have expected me to say a Kamen Rider.
Everything's Kamen Rider.
Yeah, everything is Kamen Rider.
I see it now. It's all over.
There's literally okay. All right, I'm gonna pull a Sam. If anyone who played the Sonic the Hedgehog games. If you played Sonic Colors, he does the call-outs with the wisps, which are a direct reference to Kamen Rider Double, and basically any rider after that series that does like the weird call-outs, like Vulcan, the one who like reads out when he has to open his key thing. It says bullet when he activates it. That's literally a thing that they did in Colors as a direct reference. Yes, as a direct reference to Kamen Rider. And one of the reasons way we know it is that they literally hired the guy who does all of the call-outs for Kamen Rider as the guy who did them in the Japanese dub for Sonic Colors.
Nice.
They also came out at the same fucking time.
Okay. I was gonna say I don't think Afro is that weird pick, especially in comparison to like Obi-Wan. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of lists I looked up were a lot of Jedi.
Or Tanya. Yeah. Tanya was a weirder one.
What else? Yeah, I did have.
I should have said Ashura from Ashura's Ride.
That one.
No, you're good. Yeah, I did say. Goku was on the list. Yeah, Afro's really good. A lot of comic book characters. Iron Fist, Nightcrawler. Apparently now.
I mean, Iron Fist is literally a monk.
Batman.
I don't know. No.
No?
All right, hold
No?
on. I need to say something.
Yeah?
I just need to say something.
Oh, all right.
We've
hold
gone
on.
through a lot of the class list at this point, so it's a little late for me to saying this. Nobody's allowed to pick Batman for anything. I don't even care if it fits. I'm so sick and tired of hearing Batman is X D&D character. Nobody's allowed to pick Batman.
Why?
Fuck Batman.
Why?
Because I'm so sick and tired of the arguments
Why are you-
online about what D&D character Batman is. Some
Why are you
motherfucker
hating?
will find a way to justify how Batman's secretly a
Why
wizard.
are you hating? He's just so cool, Josh. Why are you hating
Matt,
on him?
We'll break all your toes.
Why are you hating on
and
the
feed them to
greatest
your
superhero?
dogs.
Why? Why hate?
I just.
What else? I looked up a list. Someone's like, Rock Lee. ... Actually, just anyone from Naruto.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not-
I
oh,
disagree
wait,
with that statement. They're all fucking wizards except for
no,
Rock
no, no,
Lee.
no. I'll give you
They're
Rock
wizard
Lee.
ninjas.
I will give you Rock Lee. I ain't giving you everyone from Naruto. I'll give you Rock Lee.
No, I'm with Josh.
There's a couple of characters who, like, you could maybe, like Neji, maybe. Rock Lee is an easy one. Obviously, Guy Sensei also.
Obviously, yeah.
But like Naruto and Sasuke, get the fuck out of here.
What do you mean? They
Wizards.
run up
Wizards.
walls and they fight and they use
Wizards.
kunai.
By definition, Naruto is a fucking sorcerer. Okay.
Well, you know, remember, technically Naruto was originally supposed to be a
About
what if Harry
wizards.
Potter and wizard
yeah.
Japan. Yeah, and then they changed it because it wasn't good. It wasn't a good idea.
I like
Everyone
how
looked
they're. I
fugly.
like how the idea of
Everyone did look fugly.
what,
Oh
what
my
is-
God, so-
what is the logic though of, you know, it wasn't good when they were wizards. If we make them ninjas, that'll make it good. No.
I don't know. I
and
don't
it
know why, like, because originally it was like, what if Japanese wizard? No, scratch that. What if Japanese ninja wizard? Genius. Perfect.
What the fuck?
Slapped out on a plate.
All right. Anyway.
What else? Avatar, obviously, Last Airbender, Korra, comics, all the characters are some form of monk. Like, they literally, all the bendings are based on some sort of martial arts.
Yeah, it always feels weird calling any characters from Avatar monks.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the big thing with the benders, right, is take away their magic and they're just as effective as fighters. Like they can still fuck your entire shit up because they're still learning real martial arts.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe not so much for I believe waterbending is Tai Chi. 'cause it's
Yeah,
not
I
really
was
a
just
combat
thinking
martial
that.
art.
Yeah.
But everybody else can and will fucking firebending's
water-
based on White Lotus. They can and will fuck your entire shit up.
Wasn't waterbending like mostly based on like defensive techniques? Like it's
It
more
was
like
Tai Chi
deflective.
based for the primary,
yeah.
which is like a meditative thing, which makes sense for waterbending. That's it.
And then one last anime one. Spike Spiegel of Cowboy Bebop. What
I'm
if,
sorry. What?
Spike. Dude, he kick real good. And then
He don't
sometimes
really
he's
have
done.
any like special spiritual powers though.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Yes.
If you could see my face right now.
So here's the thing. Spike. He do that feng shui though, which is kind of a
Yep.
mystical thing.
Oh my god.
There's a whole episode about feng shui, and the whole time Jet is like, "This is bullshit. Feng shui isn't real," and then Spike's like, "Nah, bro, that shit's real." So Spike Spiegel knows Jeet Kune Do, really good with a gun, also feng shui.
I don't know. I feel like to qualify as a D&D monk, you have to have some magical ability, but
All right.
You
How
telling me
about
that
this,
feng
Josh?
shui isn't magical, sir?
Wait, hey, Josh, I'll help you out. He's a Kensei
yes.
monk with a gun. There you go.
But he can't. He's not imbuing the gun with his literal chi
He's imbuing
powers.
with feng shui, which is it helps him aim better.
His source is that he made it the fuck up.
Yeah. We're stretching on this one. All right, okay. Source is very much he made it the fuck up here.
Oh yeah, proper American.
Look, Jet
Right here.
Sorry, Spike is that monk that every monk plays where they don't want to play a Buddhist man and they're like, I'm a street fighter. I'm just a brawler.
I'm Mr. Street Fighter, the guy in the box.
Shut the
I'm gonna kill you.
Matt,
I'm getting a sword in the mail the next few days. I'm going to stab you with it.
I can't believe Matt unironically hit us with his Ryu from Streets.
This is the Metallica. I know that guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is.
oh,
That's
fuck.
exactly what this is. Oh my
That's
god.
you. That's you, Matt.
Oh, that is.
That
oh,
is
no.
exactly what this is. Oh, I hate this so much.
Oh,
Oh, how did you just make me more mad?
Oh man, no, I'm more sad that
I need some fucking
mad.
vodka. Holy
It's like
shit.
it's just like actually realization of like what I've done.
Oh,
It's like,
somebody give me a
no.
shot now. Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's the guy in the red? What's his brother's called? What's that dude?
Brother? Oh
What
my
did you just fucking say?
Isn't that his brother?
No.
His younger brother?
No.
He taught martial arts?
No.
No. They're wearing matching uniforms.
not siblings.
So does every martial artist from Japan, Matt.
Yeah, but they're not in the same game.
Oh my god.
What did you just fucking say to me?
So, gentlemen, final closing thoughts.
I'm gonna
Matt, they're
I'm gonna
rivals.
blow my fucking head off. Right
They're
now.
rivals, and his name is Ken.
So I just
And also
screamed
he's
real
American,
loud right out my
and
fucking
Ryu's
open window.
Japanese. They're not even the same nationality. Fucking Christ.
I can't believe you just said that. I'm actually appalled at you right now.
Yo, Pixel's Pixel when you
I'm
really think
judging you
about
so
it.
fucking hard. Wow.
Wow. That's
I
not
don't even
like
know what to
Matt,
say.
This is not.
I know Zangief though. He's
This
a big
is-
Russian guy.
this
I know him.
This
He's
is
the only
not-
character I know.
It's not even like deep lore. This is like base level lore. This is not.
I don't know shit.
Ryu and Ken.
I know Zangief,
You know
and
who
I know him
Zangief is.
from-
You should know who Ryu and Ken are.
I know him from the oh god, what's the Disney movie?
Oh
Fuck.
fucking Christ!
Oh,
I hate
God, I'm
you.
blank.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Ryu is also in that.
Is he? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Did they call him? Did they call him?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oof.
They literally had the voice actors from the game,
Yes.
Ruben Langdon's Dante as well, to
Yes.
voice one of the characters. So yes, they
Yes.
did, in fact.
I see.
right.
Well, Skeeter.
No,
gentlemen,
no.
what's your
Banned. You're banned from life. I'm
Wrap
done.
us up. I think I'm gonna have to cut. I think for the clip, I'm gonna have to cut together the initial Ryu comment and this Ryu comment and put them into one because
yeah. Uh-huh.
that was
Mhm.
something.
Yeah, do that.
That was something.
And the girl is not his sister, right?
God damn it.
Anyways,
That's racist.
so-
That's racist. He's Japanese and she's Chinese. So
That's racist. Yeah.
God.
Oh my god.
Well, a healthy balance of D&D needs, but no. All right.
Bruh.
Final closing actual thoughts on the monk before I bury myself in a deeper hole when it comes to Street Fighter.
Fucking Christ.
give me a real samurai monk.
Okay.
That's it.
That's all I
You
got.
got it?
Yep. Let me do more. Actual thought. Let me fucking punch more. Let my punches scale, please. This 3 punches for an eternity at best. No, sorry, 4 punches at best. Now get that weak shit out of here.
Yeah,
Give me
I do
more
think
fucking
they-
punches. I don't
they
care
need
if you
another-
down my hit die.
Extra attack thing, kind of like fighters.
Yeah, I could say fuck it to the D10 for all I care. Let me stick with the D8 and give me 6 fucking punches. That's all I want. Just give me more.
Josh, what about you?
To your initial comment, Isaiah, I would say make Samurai Fighter better, but anyway,
They're never gonna do that.
I think Samurai and Fighter work better than Monk and Samurai, but anyway,
What if you multi-classed
you could.
Sensei?
That's
You
the
certainly
only way to
could.
make a samurai character that doesn't feel like garbage,
I don't know.
other than just a battle master.
Just figure
Call it
out
the monk sports here, monk.
just figure out Monk's figure out what the fuck their identity is supposed to be. And go from there. You know? I think they have a little identity crisis and they need a niche that they fall into, and they don't really have one at the moment. That's really what their problem is.
And for me, gonna pull out the old Book of Sam here. Monk is cool. ... Shut the fuck up, all you mid-maxing munchkins. God, I hate you all so much. Stop it. Fuck.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna
Monk
play.
is cool.
I'm not gonna play with the min-maxing munchkins anyway, so they can rant into the void. Whatever, it's fine.
I just stop bullying the monks. Stop it. I know you want it to be better. I do too, but stop.
Well, it's about how they do the bullying. I think you know.
Yeah. True. But yeah, that has been another fantastical version of the Sessions Cancel podcast. I don't know why I said version like this is
certainly
like
it's been a version, that's for sure.
it's been a version of the game of the game of God. of this podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, and don't forget to give us a nice thumbs up or extra stars on your podcast listening device or platform of choice.
Matt. Platform of choice. Don't make it more complicated than it has to be.
I was getting it. Don't worry, I was getting it. Yeah, subscribe to us on YouTube as well. Thanks everybody for listening, and also the one last thing to leave you off with, not about to cast a light. If you wanna hit unarmed strike, monks can show you what they're like. Mother.
I'm terrified of what I just heard. I'm out. Nope.
Mother.
I'm out.